What's good, people? Today my work has taken me down south all the way to Bristol, man. I mean, look where we're at. Look at the buses, bro. Look at the buses, bro. We're here, man. We're about to go and interview the player we're interviewing today. But I'm not going to tell you guys because guess what? At this point, you're going to already know. So let's get down there, man. Let's go. You alright? You alright? Yeah, you're going to get the camera, mate.
Need a lift?
Yeah.
What's happening, people?
Let's talk to them, bro.
Square Shares Reloaded.
Yeah.
Glad I finally made the channel, you know, by time. One of the OGs. But hope you come follow me.
What's one thing you love about Bristol, bro? Like, what would you say is one thing about Bristol that you can't get anywhere else?
One thing that I love about Bristol.
So before you answer, to me Bristol's trash.
Oh,
so I know you got one thing you love about Bristol,
like,
bro.
all you London guys, bro. You all have this mentality, if it's not London, it's rubbish, it's countryside. But one thing, obviously, there's a lot to not like about every place in it, but for Bristol, it's probably the community, bro, I'll be real. I feel like, in a way, everyone kind of knows everyone. I know a lot of people don't like that, but for me, that's a good thing. I like being able to like step out and see people I know, people I'm connected with. It's the same thing in basketball. When you go to Hoops Fix This or a 3v3 tournament, you see hella guys you know, innit?
Yeah,
so
I feel you.
It's pretty tight knit.
Just pulled up to the house now, waiting for him to come downstairs. Bro, you know, all hoopers are always late, bro. I promise you, if you're meeting a hooper ever, they're leaving you outside for at least 5 minutes, bro. But that's what comes with this shit, I'm telling you. This is a nice little area, a nice little communal area, a nice residential area. Yeah, this shit kind of tough. It's kind of OC. It's kind of OC. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you, man.
Good, well.
Good, bro. Talk to them, man. Talk to them.
What's up, man? How we doing? Yeah. Welcome to the crib. You know, down here in Bristol. Yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get to it, bro. Let's go.
Want to use bedroom first?
Oh, yeah.
Just a little setup in the room right here.
Yeah, clean, nice one. Yeah. I like this space, bro. I like it in here.
Yeah, you gotta keep it fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you gotta feel comfortable in the space that you're living in
there. Yeah. Why'd you like LeBrons? I'm surprised you like LeBrons, bro.
Yeah?
Why'd you like LeBrons?
Bro, I like the cushion on the bottom of the shoes.
Oh.
I feel like I just need a little extra underneath my feet.
Okay.
Yeah, these ones, I picked these ones up in the summer. These ones are the little denim boys. A little something different, you know.
I mess with them though. Yeah, I actually genuinely like them.
Yeah.
For sure.
I try and keep the shoe game a little different. I mean, I'll run through these in about 2-3 months by the time they're
Get some
done.
new ones, yeah.
Where I've got to. It's just how it goes. But yeah.
I like the room. Oh, ensuite too.
Yeah, nice little ensuite vibes.
Oh, okay.
We got the. So it's 2 bed, 2 bath, which is nice. Everyone's sort of got their own space.
I like this pad.
Yeah, no, it's decent, bro. It's alright.
Okay. Move.
Yeah, another bathroom in there.
Okay.
And then
Now room.
Yeah. And then this is
the living area.
living area.
Nice.
All the essentials. I mean, you got enough space.
That's what's most important, bro. It seems like a nice little comfortable area, though. Like.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Not too spacious. Pretty spacious enough.
Yeah.
Yes, I like
You
it.
don't need too much space because you never have enough stuff to fill it. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's a nice little homey vibe, though.
Yeah,
I like it.
it's a good in between. It's a good in between.
Sure.
And I like to cook, so there's enough space.
You be cooking? Nah, I need to see it to believe it.
Yeah. I got a cooking bag.
Is that?
I got the cooking bag, but yeah. Yeah, this is it. Short and sweet, but this is the crib, so it's nice.
So talk to us, bro. Like, where did it all start for you?
Yeah, I mean, basketball's been quite a journey for me. Most people had their own little story, but yeah, never really grew up being like a basketball head or anything. Like it came to me like a bit later on. Turned 13, sort of picked it up, not by random, but like I was always into a lot of sports, and then basketball was one that I was like doing at the time. My mum booked me onto a little basketball course during the Easter break at one point, and yeah, I ended up joining that team. That was Bucks Hornets, so they're based out in Aylesbury.
Oh, okay.
So I joined them after the camp, and then yeah, from then just started rolling with it. everyone in this game knows how much love they have for the game, and that was just like starting early. Like from 13, it was just like rolling. And I was blessed enough to be picking up the skill that came along with the love of the game.
Yeah.
I'm with it. So I had some good coaches early on that sort of brought me to the forefront of the game, and like really was like, you can sort of take it where you want. So yeah, that was how the basketball love sort of kick-started.
Okay, what were you doing before basketball? Like playing football, playing other sports?
Football, bro. I was a big football guy. I mean, I liked a lot of sports. Like I did all the different sports in school, but yeah,
Big football guy.
Yeah,
You're the first guy to come on this platform and like really been sticking to the norm, because everybody else comes on, like Kieran was playing tennis at first, and other guys were playing tennis and doing swimming. So it's good to hear someone stuck to the normal society. Yeah, bro.
I mean, I was like my dad was like a coach, so I was like coach's son football.
Oh,
so like literally, bro, from like 3 years old was playing football. I mean, my dad was great. He was never like overbearing, but I was definitely like, very much into football for a very long time. I still love it now, but that football game is different.
It's different, bro. And you got to play in the cold as well. It's different, bro.
Yeah, I don't miss that. I honestly don't miss that. Going to frozen pitches on the weekend at like 9 o'clock in the morning and being like, oh yeah, is this okay to play?
Yeah, the ref stamp on it. The ref got the Adidas old boots on with the big metal studs. Yeah, bro. But
the Adidas coppers. The old
yeah. Going from Bucks Hornets, like, and your skill starts progressing and you start seeing yourself get better and you need more competition and you see that maybe this is something that you can take very seriously. Like, how did that process go for you? So when you decided to kind of commit your life to the game?
Yeah, I mean, at that point it was still very fresh in my in my understanding of what was going on. We had National League for Bucks, and then things like National APC was what it was called at the time, where it was like the regional based stuff. So you had like South London, East, all that type of stuff. Got into that, so that was around like 14, 15 doing that, and then obviously from there you get picked up or not picked up for the England stuff. So there was a progression in terms of like how the level was going for me, and I just constantly being challenged, like going up the levels, like just being, not the top at that level, and understanding that, okay, there's more people to work towards and that type of stuff. So sort of just a constant progression. I'm very much a like moving forward type person. I always want to feel like I'm moving forward, and I feel like knowing that now earlier on in my life, it makes sense how the basketball stuff went the way it went, just because of the natural progression of like the competition of being fresh to the game, getting good at it, always having people better than me at those different levels. So like constantly like working my way up through that. I always feel like I have a really productive year when there's a lot of better players on my team that are better than me. Because then every day I'm in practice, I'm like going against them, getting better, and then realizing like there's still more to do. And that definitely was like, not at the time, I didn't know it, but that was a good way to progress my own skill through the game. And like I said, luckily I was like just falling in love with it at that time too. So like I said, I was just blessed the fact that the skill set that I was given has allowed me to keep the progression going, really.
You finish at Bucks Hornets now under 16s, I'm presuming.
Yeah.
Where does your career take you from that point? Because I know that you're probably picking up the skill at this point and you're probably wanting to venture into some more elite basketball and stuff. So how does that process go for you? How does your family decide to take you into the new environment, new situation? Yeah. So at that point, basketball was very quickly becoming like, I mean, people use that term like as a part of your identity. Like at the time, like you're growing up, you're late teens now, like figuring out like what you're doing with your life, like where you think it's gonna go. And at that point, basketball was at the forefront of my mind. I was never like loving school. I wasn't like I mean, most sports guys like struggle with school, I think, just because of like the nature of who they are as people. Most definitely.
So at the time I wasn't like married to doing A-levels and like figuring out what I wanted to do for a career. I was very much invested in the sport that was in front of me that I was really enjoying doing. Yeah. So when the opportunity came to sort of marry the school and the basketball together with like the elite basketball academies scenarios, like it was a no-brainer for me, and that was just figuring out which one I wanted to go to. I ended up going to Oakland's, which is based out in St Albans, which was a perfect balance for me, really, because it's like 40 minutes away from my family home. So I was like far enough away that I had to grow and learn independence and sort of, like I was living on campus the first year, so like cooking meals for myself, like just figuring out life a little bit earlier than maybe the normal scenario would happen. But again, then being close enough to being home that like it wasn't like, damn, I'm like out here on an island. You know what I mean? So yeah, then the basketball took me there. Got to do my school alongside that for sixth form essentially. And yeah, that was another part of the progression of just going up a level. Now going against guys that are like from whatever it was, 16 to 19, the elite guys in the country, being challenged, getting on the court every day. I think that was the first time I had basketball court access
every day.
Like every day.
You know,
the national league team,
2 a week, 3 a week.
And it's cool, but then like that's when it really starts, like people like the grind, like things like that, like taking your own stance on it. Like, am I going to go in and shoot in the morning? Like, there's a 7 to 9 o'clock.
And it's your choice now.
There's team practice later. There's weights. There's this. There's that. There's the first that's the first like real like basketball schedule that I've ever had. And I think that still like further was like adding more flame to the fire.
Oh, definitely.
At that point. So yeah, that was where I ended up for 16 to 19 with the Oakland's Academy.
With Oakland, I have a question. This is just my personal curiosity as well. I feel like Oakland's had a lot of success kind of through the early EBL days, like days when you was there, kind of putting on for them, and probably like a few years after. But why do you feel like nowadays Oakland's is kind of not on the decline in a bad way, but like more, they're not getting as much talent around the country in terms of like the elite national team, like kids, just guys that want to go there for third years maybe and stuff. Like, why do you reckon? Do you think you have a reason, like it's a reasoning thing, or just other academies kind of have more to offer? Or
yeah, I mean, just to put it out there, Oakland's are one of the best player development spots. I could say without a doubt. If you're gonna go there, you're gonna come out a better player. They've got a real player first care program. Regardless of sort of who you are, like and what your skill set is, like they're gonna help you work towards like your goals, and they'll like push you in the right direction. So there's definitely that. I think in terms of a performance view of the group, we can compare the Charnwoods, the Barkings, the Colas, the Myers Coes, that like year in year out are always like there and thereabouts in the finals. And I would say, I mean, again, I didn't get the privilege to go to any of those schools, because I'm sure it'd be great, and they have a great performance-based, academy too. Yeah. But I would say, guys, do you want to win? Like, do you want to go and win something at that point, or do you want to
focus on yourself?
Yeah. So and that's, I think, the part of the decision for everybody. Personally, I could have gone to Charnwood and I could have gone to Barking, but I ended up going to Oakland and I ended up being a bigger fish in a smaller pond. Which actually sort of accelerated my ability to move on to the next level. I think if I went to a Charnwood or a Barking where there's more talent around, so it's more of it spread out, probably have a better team, probably have a better chance of winning the EABL at the time. But then where does that leave you in terms of your progression as a player? And I think at the time I made the perfect decision to go to Oakland's, where we did have a good team, but by the time I reached my second year,
you're ready to step into that role.
Exactly. And sort of the buck sort of stopped with me, and like making sure that like I was the leader of the team in terms of my voice, but I was also the leader of the team in terms of my performance. So in terms of Oakland's generally as a performance, I think they're still on the rise. I think talent is now more spread out than ever.
Oh, I think it's even spread out across like away from the EABL program. So I think people now are starting to realise that you have to go to spots where you're wanted, not where you want to go. So I think that's probably the issue as well.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. And you got to, and like I said, you really got to figure out like what's best for you, like what's going to be best for you. Do you need to be in that performance environment where, like I said, there's a lot of people better than you, and like, okay, well, I'm going to get better by the end of this year because I know that I'm playing against X, Y, and Z every day. But yeah, they do a great job of making sure that you come out a better player than when you left. And I think they've got some really positive, speaking on Oakland's, they've got some really positive things in the works right now that is going to progress the level of the whole academy. They've got some big plans for a new arena. and things like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, they're trying, you know, and I think they're one of those places that, in terms of the London-based scenario, obviously they're in St Albans, just outside of the city.
Close enough, yeah.
There's a lot of positives to be there, and yeah, you know, purpose-built arenas are only good for any program, any basketball situation in this country. So I'm hoping, obviously they've got that sort of in the works, like it's on the financial director's hands or something. So fingers crossed they can really start pushing that and get more of that. And any program that can do that is, you know, it's going to be in a better situation for it.
So for you, after like a pretty successful junior career in the EABL and stuff, I feel like you got quite a few like honours and stuff. Did you get like first team EABL and like any of them kind of honours?
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. I remember what I averaged my last year. I averaged 24 in the EABL my last year.
So you was so you probably got the scoring leader. You definitely want the scoring leader. Do you know why I know? Because I was younger at this point, and I remember I used to look at them kind of things on the website.
Yeah.
I used to look at the top 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but coming out of Oakland, because you probably know you want to take the next steps in your career, what was the recruitment process like for you individually, and like how did you kind of navigate it, I'd say?
Yeah. So again, the second year of my college, in my Oakland's college career started, and it was going really well. Like I was the main guy on the team. It was, you know, we were rolling, and it got to probably like December, and my coach came out to me and was like, "Hey, so what do you think about America?" And at that point, on and off my radar, I wouldn't say that I was like dead set on going. I didn't know where my basketball career was going to take me once I went to Oakland's, but that was the way that it was going. We started like doing, he was like, okay, well, let's start like reaching out to schools. I ended up using a recruiting service that like would send your tape out and communicate for you. Obviously being it's harder to navigate that scene because you really don't know. There were so many unknowns. Like I really didn't know what I was doing. And everyone was like, don't worry, you don't know about it. Like I'll help you deal with it. And at the time, like learning about the landscape of college basketball in the States, like I was very much, you know, I thought that like I need to go to D1, I need to play D1 basketball to sort of keep the
dream alive.
Yeah, like making sure that the progression's still going upwards, we're not moving backwards. So we have like I had a lot of early interest emails from schools, but one thing that really does matter is your education at that point. Not that I was failing my school, because I wasn't, but you have to do the SAT, ACT stuff. And the way that it works here is you have to privately book it.
Yeah,
at that time, I don't know what it's like
well.
now. Yeah. So like, and obviously these companies only have a certain amount of tests at a certain amount of times. So I think I remember like booking the test. Like the only test I could have done for it to be eligible for whatever was they needed at school was like 2 or 3 weeks time from the time booked it. I was like, how am I going to study for a whole SAT test? It's like
3 weeks,
5-6 hours.
It's just a weird test as well, isn't it? It's just a bit of a weird test.
And it's all about how it's all about American stuff that you learn in American school.
It's just the weirdest test of your life, bro.
Weird, weird, and so long, and it didn't make any sense.
And you got that a different segment. Yeah, it's just what a test, bro.
It was a whole facade. So obviously I didn't score well on the test, right? Yeah. So I had early interest from schools, from like some mid-major D1 schools that were all like, all right, we need your stuff,
scores,
this and that. Sent the scores. Most of them are like, dude, we wouldn't be eligible to get into the school. I was like, damn. Literally, I was like, damn. And there were a couple that were like cool, like, and it was fine. But the recruitment just didn't go sort of any further than like the start. So then for a while I was looking a bit shaky. I was like, I don't know if I'm really able to get a spot. During this time I did have a decent amount of like D2, JUCO and NAIA schools that were, but at that time I sort of been like, nah, like
I want D1 now. Yeah.
I was very much like I want these situations to materialize and see where they're gonna be. Like I don't want to jump on a gun for a D2 school. At the time, the D2 schools that were recruiting me were like middle of nowhere. Like I did all the research on the school and I was like,
don't want to really like live out there.
Like literally like Idaho, like I don't even know where, West Virginia, where it's gonna snow like 7 months in a year. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if that's actually quite for me. So at the time I didn't know. Actually ended up taking a visit to Loughborough because I was like, all right, well,
if I stay here,
if I stay here, let me go to Loughborough and do that. So I took a visit there, and then right at the very end of my recruiting cycle, I got an email from coach at Barry University, which is the school I ended up going to. They were based out in Florida, Division 2. Had a really positive conversation with him early, and he was like, we would love to get you out for a visit. 2 weeks later, take a visit with both my parents. We go to Barry in Florida, and the campus is beautiful. Like it's literally like,
I've seen some like pictures and like stuff of Barry. Barry looks amazing, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. It's a really beautiful place. I feel like, especially coming from here and going there, like it's really like, damn, this is like a school. Like that was crazy to me.
Yeah.
Obviously went on a visit. The visit was great, and then I committed on the spot at the visit.
Yeah.
So at the time, so that's at NCAA Division 2, and at the time, like in my head, I was like, this is gonna be great, but like, I don't know, like how it's gonna look basketball wise. So I was like, obviously, I still didn't really know. Obviously, D2 is a great level, and now I know that. But in my head, and I think the stigma around Division 1 basketball in the States,
it's the be all end all.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people that weren't there, and even people in the States, I think believe that too. Like, but so at the time I was a bit like, didn't really know if it was the right decision fully for my basketball career. But it ended up being the best thing for me, because once I got out there, again, I was in a situation where I had a bunch of people around me that were better than me.
Yeah, and pushing you.
Pushing me, getting better, and I was still in that perfect sweet spot of, actually, I have enough skill right now to be able to deliver on like some things in the game, but I've got so much more way to go. But that D2 first year really like grounded my like perception of what was really going on in my career. I was like, okay, like, because if I went to D1, if I went to a D1 school that I really wanted to go to, I probably would have like, it would have been sink or swim, innit? But like, I felt like at that point I probably would have sunk.
Oh, because you just...
Well, there were a couple of different factors. Level, but like the coach that was at Barry, the assistant that we had was there, was like really good. Like he had a bunch of foreign people before as well. So like,
you know, to handle you guys,
Yeah, and it's a different scenario. Like, and I feel like at the D1 schools you might not get that much like individual care or
contact time just to help you adjust, rather than like,
little things.
Why are you not good enough now to help us? Like,
right.
Yeah.
And what does the coach understand about you being away from home? What is he like? And obviously, that's just, I mean, good coaches are really good at that, but you can't guarantee that you're going to end up with someone that's, you know, there's
even gonna care about that. Yeah, for sure.
So ended up going to Barry was actually the best decision I could have made, and a huge blessing to be able to go there, have a difficult and very trying but super learning year my first year, and then ended up being a 3-year starter for the rest of the time.
After your first year in Barry, you played for the GB under-20 team, right?
Yeah.
So how did that kind of come about? Like, was that your first time playing for the national team and stuff?
Yeah, I was around the national team young in the under 20, under 16, under 18 eras.
Oh, the camps and stuff.
The camps and stuff, yeah. I don't think I ever made the final squad for them. I was always just a bit short.
Yeah.
But yeah, first time I made the national team for GB under 20s.
Yeah.
After my first year in Barry.
How was that process like in terms of like them contact you in the off season and stuff, or when did you find out that they wanted to have you in contention for the team? How did that process go?
I think that the season was coming up to an end, and I got an email from it was actually Mark at the time, Mark Stewart, who's now the men's senior coach. Was our coach at the time.
Yeah. We
got an email from Mark sort of saying, do you have availability for the summer, things like that, and then came home. I think had a couple of weeks off, and then rolled straight into camp for GB under 20s, and
that year you guys were Pro A, right? You guys were Div A that year as well.
We were Div A, yeah.
Okay.
And for me, like I said, I never made a national team before, so like making that team was huge. And I think at the time we had the highest finish ever from a GB team. I think we finished 9th out of 16.
Yeah.
Out of the tournament. I think our group was like Turkey.
I remember watching that game against Turkey. Remember, you guys played? Was it in Germany?
Yeah, it was in Germany.
That. Okay, I definitely watched that. Yeah,
we was in Germany, and yeah, just to be around that scenario at 20 years old. Most of those dudes that were playing in that tournament were like pros in their own right. Like they were all like, not many of them were at college in the States. They were all like in their own European countries, like under the tree of whatever, like the Barcelona, you know, under 20 team, like all that type of stuff. You know how like the European thing works, like it's like an academy based thing for football here, like all the big clubs
same exact infrastructure.
So being in that environment, having further competition in the summer was great, and representing the national team is always, you know, it's always a blessing and an honour. You feel a lot of pride putting that shirt on and being able to compete with guys, you know, that you sort of grown up with. Like I think that under 20s team holds a special place in my heart. A lot of those guys, you know, you see year in, year out, and you know, you get to cross paths with them, follow their careers. So yeah, that was a great experience for me for sure.
In the sense of comparing the level of like a NCAA Division 2 or even Division 1 with kind of the image that I think people from the UK see, and like how would you describe it to people that are gonna make that jump at some point or looking to make that jump? Because for me personally, in my journey, like a lot of coaches, when I was trying to get recruited or looking for recruitment, like kind of opportunities, would always make it seem as if like you're like, if you're from England and you're a guard, maybe you're so far off the level. Like when you went out there, did you kind of agree with that, or would you say like maybe it could be a confidence thing or just like a situational thing? Like how would you kind of put it into words?
Yeah, I've actually got, I feel like, the perfect answer for this one. I feel like us and kids in this country are just like a million reps behind any American. Not necessarily just reps in like shots, but just like contact time, hours on the court. Just like, we're just so far behind where the kids would be at their point. Like, again, like we said, national team practice 2 times a week, 2 hours, boom, you're done. But like kids in the States from like 6 years old, maybe they practice every day.
Daily,
But like, they got games, the AAU cycle that runs, like, you know, there's so much opportunity that they get. I mean, there's question marks on how performance based their contact time is. Like, how good is their coach? What sort of scenario are they in? And obviously basketball in the States, they play a lot of games. Like I said, the AAU cycle, but there's playing a lot. But is there a lot of like skill development in the practice sessions? Like how does that work? But yeah, so it's like it's like if you had just done something for longer than someone had done it for, me or you could have a higher skill level than them.
Yeah.
Because maybe we had a good coach at a good time, and you know, you learn this and that, and how you know how you can manipulate an offense. But like for them, they were more ballers. You know what I mean?
And that's exactly. It's funny you say that, because this is the exact answer that, like, if anybody ever asked me, I didn't go to America, but that's the answer I would give them. I feel like when you're from Europe or even the UK, I feel like you create a much better role player. You could even say you create a better pro for a situation, but like I feel like America just create better hoopers, bro. Like just talent wise, just like, when you think ball, rim, score, that's all you need. Yeah, so I think, and you point to that kind of landscape.
Yeah.
It's really uncomparable, really. I don't know if anybody else agrees, but that's always how I've seen it.
I like, everyone talks about basketball culture. Like, what does the culture look like in the UK? Why can't the UK do this and that? But it's like, that's like the beginning of it. It's just like, what do you see on the street when you're walking around? Do you see kids with a basketball in their hand at 4 years old? Or do you see them kick around a ball? Like, how does that just feel? Like pretty much all of my American teammates are like, yeah, man, I started basketball at 4 years old. It's like, alright, so you started 9 years before me, and it doesn't even matter what type of stuff you were doing before then. You've had 9 more years of basketball than
9 more years to fail, 9 more years to try again.
Or just to figure it out. People find out more than ever now that Europe has a bunch of talent and more ballers than ever. And I think that's just to do with the way the game's growing and how much contact time people are getting in Europe now. Like, we're talking about European powerhouses, Serbia, Spain, you know, the likes of them, the Lithuanians. Those kids are in the gym every day from 5, 6, 7 years old, and they've got that progression, and that will show. You know, I think the more that we can find that scenario for our kids here.
So coming out of Barry, as you said, 3-year starter after your freshman year and stuff. Did you ever win anything at Barry? Did you how far did you ever get in the tournament?
I mean, that was part of the reason that the school was actually an excellent spot for me. Was 3 out of the 4 years, we were like the best and second best team in the league. We won the conference 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
We won our region once, which meant we went to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
Ended up losing to the national champions in the end.
Yeah. Okay.
So we were top 8 team in the country my sophomore year, and yeah, so we were super competitive. So yeah, ended up winning a good amount. Two regular season titles, conference tournament, regional championship. So yeah, I would say overall the college career was super successful.
So coming out of college and making the decision to go pro and stuff, even if you decided to you wanted to stop, because I feel like what happens for a lot of people is that a college career can kind of be where you just say, I've experienced so much and I've given so much to the game at this point, I want to kind of go into a new venture of life. But you obviously decided to go pro and take this route and continue to make this your life. But how's your pro career been so far, and where has your pro career taken you?
You really got to make a conscious decision to choose that path. And in my senior year, I was like, I definitely want to go back over to Europe and play pro. I didn't think that that was the be-all and end-all of my basketball journey. So yeah, really had a vision to sort of come back to the European side of the world and continue to play. And then yeah, it got super bumpy early, man. I mean, I graduated 2020, COVID. So when COVID hit, everything just shut down, and it was really rocky at the start. Navigating that scenario, you got to find an agent. I ended up signing up with a Spanish agency, who at the time, were great. I think they were great. It was very difficult to sort of sell a rookie player coming out of D2 at the time. It was tough, and to think I had all this planned out in my head, and then to get to the point where I was like, all right, we got this ahead of us, and then alternative factors, make a barrier for me, getting on the team. So it was difficult to start. I ended up landing in back at Oakland's college. They had a D1 men's team at the time.
Okay.
Played at Oakland's.
So for some reps and stuff just to stay fit.
They sort of gave me the opportunity to come in there and sort of just do my own thing and be ready to move on if the opportunity came. Luckily, I played 2 games for them and I played pretty well. So I got a call from Coach Creon down at Surrey Scorchers.
Oh, okay.
And started my pro career there with them. Shout out to Coach Creon, man. Giving a young British guy an opportunity to come in.
We need more of that around the league for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Surrey doing a good job of that now. I mean, like I said, Coach Creon was the one that gave me the opportunity. Dan Clark now is, giving young British guys a chance to play and get meaningful minutes on the biggest stage we have in this country, which goes a long way. Having that young player development, is important, and having a coach that understands, coach and support staff that understands that comes with its own trials and tribulations is important. You can't just throw them out there and expect them to be good to go every game. There's different scenarios that plays a factor. Even when you've had a whole college career, you've got a lot of pro learning to do. So to have people around you like that, makes a big difference. And I think at the time, another big blessing for me to go there and be in that environment with a very caring coach and a scenario that was cared about me, didn't just care about how good I was going to play on the weekend. There was a lot of care there, which actually goes a long way. Normally, when you don't think about it at the time, but post that scenario, you look back and you're like, that really helped me out in that scenario. I had a great year there, and then I had the opportunity to go out and play in Spain.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's undercover, man. I don't talk about it too much. I went to a team in Leb Silva in Spain.
Okay.
And the reason I don't talk about it is because it was a really tough time. It was probably one of the toughest times I had playing basketball. Was there for 4 months, and it was very difficult. All the things that people sort of harp on about being a hooper and playing professional, sort of.
It all came at the same time.
Well, it was hitting home, bro. In some of those scenarios where you don't get paid on time, getting paid in envelopes, meeting in the town hall, being like, yo, come to the town hall, we got your check. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, just did weird things, you know, very, very intense, 2 full practices a day, a weights coach that, you know, didn't really have any idea what was going on, just maxing out on machines in the weight room, like, and it makes it difficult, you know, like, when your life isn't balanced, basketball become very difficult, being isolated, being in a place where you don't feel comfortable, I made the decision to leave the team in December, which was difficult for me. I don't feel like I give up on much. Like I definitely want to see things out when I decided to commit to them. But yeah, like I said, it was a very difficult time for me, and the love and the passion I had for the game was dwindling, and it was dwindling really quickly. And I didn't want to be in a scenario where I got to the end of the season and I was completely spent. You know, I was emotionally and physically very drained in that moment of my life. So deciding to leave the team was the best thing for me. I came back home in December of that year. I landed, and I was very much just in an open-minded scenario. I wanted to, you know, whatever the situation was, keep playing, keep fitness up. If there was a good scenario around, then, you know, I'll take it. Which is when I got to go to Loughborough and play at Loughborough with Leicester. So for that back end of that year was playing Division 1 with Loughborough, and also obviously playing with the Leicester Riders, with the BBL team.
Okay.
Which was
in your first year, who was at the Riders? Like, what team did you guys have that year?
Yeah, Gino was the point guard.
Oh.
We had Gino.
My favorite point guard of all time with BBL, bro.
Shout out to Gino, man. You know,
for
shout out
sure.
to Gino. You know, Pat Whelan, Kimball, Mackenzie, Darian, Nelson Henry. You know, all those guys. Zach Jackson now.
Oh, he's back now, right?
Yeah, he's back now. So yeah, it was an incredible team, winning 3 out of 4 trophies. You know, it was a really great professional team. You know, the guys were really professional in the way they carried themselves, and we had a really good relationship. You know, I got really fond memories of that team. So to go from that Spanish scenario to coming back and playing in the Leicester scenario really fixed my whole like love, passion issue. Where my head was at mentally. I was close to home. I got to see my parents. I got to see people around me, which really like grounded me back and really allowed the basketball to keep being free flowing and really keep it a progression thing. Ended up having one more full season there with Leicester, which had new goals and new trials for me. You know, I wanted to continue to get better, continue to prove myself in this league, and not someone that was just going to sort of fade away and be like a real factor. Iron sharpens iron. I really believe that, being in a scenario where people were better than you, like, you know, having that like real competitive scenario, always wanting to get better, was great for me, and it showed in that second year the opportunities I got. I feel like I wanted to make sure that every opportunity I got in that year when I did get on the court was to prove to me and to everybody else around me that, you know,
belong.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I wasn't just here making up the numbers and things like that.
Do you feel like, because I know you're in the Masters at Loughborough, right? Do you feel like playing Bucks, so on Wednesday you'd get, you know, some, not the highest level bump ever for you at that point, but just some more, you take everything you learned in the week with the Riders guys, and you can play on Wednesday, like have some more freedom, some more, you know, just show a bit more of what you've been working on, and just, you know, enjoy the game, and then take that into the rest of the week and catch that. You feel like that helped you?
No doubt. Like that scenario at that point in my playing career was great, because I wasn't playing that much for the Riders, so on the weekend I wasn't getting that tactile, like, the game reps that we all speak about. So to go into the Bucks games on a Wednesday and play 30 minutes a game and have the freedom to do, you know, try things, you know, get the game reps, feel the flow of the game, keep the wind up.
Fun fact though, we were going to beat them. But I missed the open free to decide the game. We was going to beat them. They know.
There was an opportunity. The door was open.
Yeah.
They just did Leicester for a year and a half, and then made the decision not to go back. I had the opportunity to go back. But the management and my view of where I thought I was, you know, where my worth was at, we didn't quite line up. There was an opportunity to go back, but for me, it was very much a point of, I think, need to take another risk in my career. You know, I wanted to be a bit more yeah, risky per se to like advance where I thought I was going to be at, and you know, if my career was going to plateau at that point and you know, come to an end, because obviously basketball stops for everybody at some point due to a couple of reasons, but you know, one is money. You know, if you play basketball for a living and you don't make enough money, then what are you going to do? You know, you can't be 30 with no money.
Definitely.
So making the decision to take my ability to a different team to, you know, continue to further my career was somewhere I needed to go. I needed to go to a team that had a bigger role for me personally, and Manchester was the perfect spot. I got to finish my master's degree there. And
I know you was frying in Bucks, Div 1A, bro. Whatever I don't even know what you called it. I don't even trying to be rude, but I know you.
I mean, look, credit to the Manny boys. To be fair, I mean, I came in and you know I helped them get better. I didn't necessarily play all the minutes on all the teams, but there were some times where I would play some heavy minutes and making sure that like guys around me were, you know, getting involved. So yeah, that was at that point that was very much a level where there wasn't much value in me getting better in that scenario, but to help, you know, the team get promoted, the program to progress, the guys around me to, you know, to get better as well. I mean, they made me better too by just, you know, being
leaning on you and stuff, making you their leader.
Exactly. Not necessarily maybe the basketball skill stuff, but like the other things of like progressing my ability to get the peers around me to like sort of, you know, be on the same level. It was a tough time for the Manchester Giants. Performance wise, we had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that, you know, guys that weren't involved, you know, don't know about. But to go out there and, you know, make sure that I had an emphasis on personal performance and making sure that I'm putting my best foot forward when I'm out there every time was a key. And to go into that scenario, understanding that I need to perform to continue to progress my pro career was really important. And I felt like I obviously put myself in a position in this off season to have options for
going into the new season.
That was
Wait, before we continue, this is a big bit where even like for me, when I seen it, it's like, cause for me as a player and also keeping up with British basketball, genuinely just as a fan, when I see young British talent like kind of, and you can and witnessing them pave the way for themselves, it's good to see. And it's like, as a fan, I see it and I'm happy for people. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So for you at that point, I feel like you played your way deservedly into the GB men's like kind of situation, the camp stuff. How did that kind of work for you, and how did that transpire and lead you into this new season and kind of just? I feel like that probably just adds to your resume and makes you more appealing to teams around the world. To be fair, so how did that go for you though?
Yeah, I mean, super blessed to be given that opportunity this summer. It was something that I had, you know, put in my plans at the start of the last season. You know, I wanted to be in a position for a national team selection, and that was very much the forefront of my mind when going into games for the last year. You know, making sure that like I'm one of the best British guys out there. Like making sure that was literally things I would say to myself for the game. Making sure that when I'm stepping on the court, going against these other Brits, making sure that I'm going to be some of the best. So to get that opportunity for that to be paid off with an invite to camp this summer was, you know, was great for me. Like it was a really proud moment, and you know I was really appreciative of being in that environment, and again in a position where you're around elite level people and continue to being pushed, and understanding you still got like a long way to go. And you know, staying humble in that scenario, making sure that you're like still progressing and just feeling where you're at, appreciating the opportunity, taking it all, and not taking it for granted. That was one. You know, I had a great time this summer being around the guys, being able to compete. I mean, my first ever international game was against Argentina. I played against Franco Campazzo and Laprovilla, who played for Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Yeah, I'm not like that's funny because he's my favorite point guard in EuroLeague. To be honest, I like that guy. Laprovilla, that guy's tough. I like that.
He's serious. I thrive in a performance environment, and to have that opportunity and do it this summer was great. And like I said, it was a goal that I set for myself, and continue to want to hold myself in that category of player. So yeah, to be recognised for that this summer was huge.
Definitely, very much so. And then that leads you into this year with Bristol and stuff. Your first year competing in Europe. How you been finding it so far, and what's different about it? I mean, it's probably your first time in a while being a full pro. I mean, day in, day out and stuff, being around the team 24/7. How's it been for you?
Yeah, a great start for me. You know, personally, I feel very at home here. I got a lot of trust from coach, which is great. You know, I feel like this is the longest leash I've had on a team, which is really nice. You know, you always want to have a lot of confidence from the coach and you be allowed to express yourself even through your shortcomings and things. You know, we're not all perfect, so when you have bad games and you know coach is still drawing stuff up for you, you know it feels it's a good place to be, and you know we've got a great team here. The guys are really great. We all get on really well. Playing in the European competition is huge. Part of the off-season discussions that me and Nick had was just making sure that wherever the next landing spot for me made sense in a progression. So if there's, you know, I played in the BBL or SBL, SLB, whatever it's called. The top flight of British basketball, let's just call it that. And, you know, making sure that if I'm going to come play here again, that what does that look like? We need a bigger role. We need probably a team that's playing in the European competition to make sure that we, you know, we're still taking steps forward.
For sure.
To play in those European competitions against, you know, Bundesliga Germany teams, top flight Denmark teams, top flight Polish teams, it means a lot for my progression, and you know, emphasis on performing well in those games is definitely, you know, on the top of the list. Bristol it's a good scenario. You know, we've got a long way to go as a team, but we've got some big aspirations, and we've got a really talented bunch. So you know, I'm excited to see how the year plays out for us, and yeah, obviously for me personally.
I like you guys' team, man, for sure. I mean, like, for like you're coming off the bench being a super sub. I saw a game yesterday, bro. I was like, this guy's got like 10 points in like 2 minutes. You get what I'm trying to say? But personally, I feel like you had some of the big points this year as well. So, I mean,
there's a lot of good. I mean, it's obviously it's a wide open competition this year. I think a lot of teams feel like they've got a good. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think a lot of teams probably feel like they've got enough to make something happen, and yeah, we're definitely one of them too. So
sure,
it'll be an exciting year.
You now being partnered with Nick and Vantage Basketball and stuff. How did that come about? Because I know you were signed with a Spanish agency and stuff, but what went into you know, either switching or just trusted Nick to kind of get you to the point you're at now?
Yeah. So I started out with the Spanish agency and then sort of represented myself for a while. Just, you know, if you play in this country, at that time I felt like I didn't need representation. So I was unrepresented for a while. And then at the start of last year, Nick got in contact with me. I mean, I didn't know that he was actually an agent at that point. Obviously, we had a great working relationship when he was
with Lions.
Yeah, coaching with Lions, and you know, you cross paths with people in basketball in this country very, very quickly and very easily. So you know, I knew Nick really well. He called me and sort of spoke to me about his agency, and really more so than just that, he put, like, before the season had even started, you know, he posed to me that he thought that I was going to have a really good year. Like, he was like, I mean, what you were doing at Leicester with the time you were given was impressive, and I think that you're poised to have a great year. And to me, like, he was like, I have a little stigma about myself that people are a little bit late to my party sometimes. Like, I feel like people were like, oh yeah, and then I start doing something good, and then people are like, oh yeah, I knew it was good. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, but like, you weren't really, you know what I mean? It's one of those. But you know, Nick came to me at the start of last year and was like, hey, I'm really excited about your potential for this year and your potential going on as a basketball player. The season started, and I knew I needed representation because I knew where I wanted my basketball career to go. Nick was the perfect guy. The agency game is a difficult one for players to navigate. There's a lot of unknowns and things that you don't necessarily think about that are actually really important. And having someone like Nick who cares about my basketball game, but also like cares about like who I am as a person, how I am on a day-to-day basis, means a lot. And to have that personal relationship with him before our professional relationship had started.
That
It goes a long way.
Yeah.
You know, working with Nick was really a no-brainer, and to be with Vantage Basketball now has been great, and yeah, really excited to continue to work with Nick.
Shout out Vantage Basketball, man. Shout out Nick. Shout out my guy.
Shout out all my Vantage guys. Nick, yeah, man.
To close up, bro, I just have 2 questions for you. The first one, I wanted it to be a bit more lighthearted, but who do you think in your career so far has been the hardest person you played against, had to guard, or like, yeah, just who's been a nightmare, bro, like, so far?
There's two answers. There's 2 answers to this, and one is one we previously mentioned. The man, the myth, the legend, Gino Crandall is an absolute magician with the ball, bro. Like, everyone gets blessed with seeing what he does on the court for a game day, and that is something special. But what you really got to see is what he does in practice.
No, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see
in
that.
practice, when he's really getting to his money in practice, he's so creative. You know, he's one of those just uber creative guys. Like, his feel for the game is insane.
That's it, bro. The way he manipulates the ball when he dribbles, I'm like, there's no way your hands can do that shit, bro. Yeah. But that's what we were talking about earlier, though. Sorry, bro. That's why you probably started when he was like 4. That's probably why.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he whatever it is, he got it, man. So shout out to you, Gino, man. The other is my college point guard. His name's Elvar Fredriksson. He is Icelandic national. He played for the national team.
Yeah.
He's had a serious pro career. He's played all over. I think he played for Power Class in Greece.
Oh, in Greece, yeah.
Yeah, he dude's been everywhere, and he is just, he's a machine. He's like 6 foot, strong build, I think he can run faster than me, and I pride myself on being quick, very quick. The dude is fast, and he's just the ultimate point guard. But I don't think there's not really too many shortcomings in his game. Those 2 dudes are just phenomenal to me. The way they can both manipulate the ball in an incredible way, and their ability to lead the teams that they're on and get others involved as well.
I need to see some film from that guy. Okay, that sounds good.
Nah, check him out, bro.
No, definitely.
Elvar's for real. He's serious.
Kind of just to round out this video, bro, I wanted to ask you, what advice would you give to people, young British talent, people around the world that are watching this, people in general who just like want to be successful in their life? What advice would you give to them to reach that goal or reach this point with their basketball career, or just anything they want to be good at in life?
Yeah, it's a tough question. Just making sure that you've got like a making sure that you have like a vision of how you want things to go, but understanding that it's not going to go that way.
Yeah.
Like, set your goals, like, and work towards them efficiently. Don't like work around them. Like, make sure that if you want to make XYZ team, that like, how do you make that team? Like, you got to get better at this. You got to be able to do this. Like, I know that's a really vague statement right there, but making sure that what you're working towards is very specific. But then being at peace with, like, when things don't go well, that you're not like completely derailed.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to be able to like find the groove again in the new way that it's going to take you, because you're always going to have a way that it's going to go, and it's never going to go the exact same way. In everything I've done in my life, I've had a vision of how it's going to work, and it's never worked that way. But it's always worked out.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Yeah.
But it's always worked out, and understanding that, like, actually, like, people have said it before, but I'm a very big believer in this, is that it's always about the journey, not about the goal, not about the end.
Yeah.
Like, it's always about how you get there, and there's beauty in that. And, you know, staying true to yourself is huge. Like, understanding when it's too much, like, when something's too much, it's too much, and it's okay, and that's alright, you know, and the people around you are gonna care about you the same way if you give up on something, or like you understand that this situation isn't as good for you as you first thought it was going to be, and yeah, just being at peace with the journey. The more you're well rounded out, the better. They'll probably eggs in one basket.
Definitely, bro. Appreciate you for your time, bro. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, appreciate you.
What's one thing about Bristol that like you've enjoyed so far and liked, bro? Like one thing that you feel, it's just made you feel at home?
You know what, the club is really well set up.
Like the support staff, just like the little bits that you get, like free meals, discounts at places, like it sounds silly, but it goes a long way. Like, definitely. And the people are nice. Like the people are really nice. I would say, like, you're not like really in the public eye, but like Bristol Flyers in Bristol is like a bigger deal than I would say most SLB teams are in their respected city. So it's like when you go places, like you get like looked after and stuff, which is nice. It's a nice scenario to be in.
We was with Corey today, bro, and then he pulled up obviously in the car. The people that are around were looking like, oh, that must be somebody, because you can see the car. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Thanks. The branding on the car.
Yeah, you can tell by their faces that like they at least probably knew who he was or knew about the club. I feel like any other city, it's like the basketball team doesn't even get that love anyway. They might just look at the car and be like, oh, you know what I'm trying to say? Here, it seems like a big deal for sure.
Yeah, well, the way that the team's owned, so the owner for our team is also the owner for Bristol City Football and Bristol Bears. So like they're under the same ownership of like Bristol Sport.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like they're all plugged in at one. Like the team store at the football stadium has like our merch in it. Yeah. So it's like even as that like it just goes.
That goes a long way.
Yeah, it goes a long way in terms of just like brand, association. It's only right.
Off day McDonald's after a win, bro. This was Evan's request, by the way. So Bristol, this has nothing to do with me, bro.
It's only right. You gotta treat yourself. Life's about balance.
I feel you. When the strength coach see this and the nutrition see this, the nutritionist, sorry, this wasn't nothing to do with us.
Listen.
This was an Evan Walshe. This McDonald's shit ain't even cheating on me. I'm in there eating like I'm at Gaucho. Well, look at her, man. Gonna Gaucho money. That ain't it, man.
Show these niggas that I'm rolling with some savages. She saw me also good, I think I need the ambulance. With the wappy girl, clip, clap, pow, wappy girl. Rich, how, why you back again? Why you back again? Listen, bitch, I ain't a nigga you could play with. I only handle